So in this week's video, we're going to go over the electrical issues that we had with the tractor restoration. So we're going to focus on two things. We're going to focus on fixing the electrical system that was already there, and we're going to focus on the electrical upgrades that I made, which mainly includes mounting a Mictuning panel. I had to do a custom fab mounting plate for that, and then wiring up all our lights and stuff to that. So with this, the biggest issue that I had was getting my electrical charging system to charge. I put a new alternator on, which is technically a generator. And then I had the regulator. I bought a regulator. There wasn't one on the tractor when I bought it. And it took me lots and lots of trials and tribulations to get that thing to work. I tried to install an incandescent light to help that whole system. That didn't work out, but it would charge fine whenever I would hold the lamp line onto the battery. And so because of that, I actually just installed a relay, and I'll kind of go over all that a little bit here, but I installed a relay so whenever the ignition's turned on, it sends power to that line, which fools the regulator into charging, basically. So I want to kind of start off with that here and kind of explain it to you.
All right, so as far as the wiring, I ended up wiring this 12-volt block into the engine bay, which I didn't want to do in the engine bay. The regulator goes here. Just because of the heat, I didn't want to do it here, but it's really the best place that I had from the space. I have some grommets in here for the wires to go through. This is actually going to come from the ignition switch. I don't have that hooked up yet, but that way all of these are ignition powered. So I need a couple of these for the regulator and a couple of other circuits that we have too. So that was just the best place that I found to put it. All right, so from our fuse box, we got this 10 gauge wire in split loom that goes down and it's connected to the ignition on the accessory. Now this I did clean off with the wire brush and the Dremel on these points before I put that on there as well. So the hard part to adding this panel is finding somewhere to put this stuff. So I made this custom hold down plate. These two bolts are going to hold the DC fuse, and then these two bolts that are these studs that I have welded in there, they're going to hold the Mictuning panel. So this won't actually close the circuit with that there. So I'm just going to take this cutoff out. Alright, so when I was trying to mount my panel here, this bolt broke and I can't get the nut on it. So I guess I'm just going to grind that off on the back and put another bolt in there and weld it again. Alright, so I got that stud replaced. Now I got to add some paint back here. Alright, so step one is to connect the battery to the bottom of the breaker. So we're going to go from here up to here. Alright, so I got the first side of this connected, but I wanted to show you guys this battery cable has a larger lug in it than the other two. There are two red ones. The other red one, I dropped it. The other red one's a small hole on both sides. So this was the one that's going to go to the control panel over here. So make sure you have that larger one to go into the battery. Of course, it doesn't reach too far. Alright, so when I was taking the head off, I dropped one of the nuts out of the lug that was on there, and I can't find it anywhere. So I had to go down to Walmart and buy a new one. Now, I wasn't even going to tell you this, but somebody's going to notice that it's different. Ask why, so that's why. Alright, so we got our battery running down, connected to the bottom of the breaker. And then this post is going to connect and go right there on the control panel. All right, so then we got the top of the breaker going straight to the panel, and you can see how short this run is, and this almost is too long for this piece of wire. So you gotta be careful with that. To the point that this jacket started ripping on here because it was pulled down while I was trying to get it in there, but I think it'll be fine now. I am gonna add a little bit of electrical tape right there because there's a little bit of a hole there, but I think it'll hold up. Then we have our negative cable that goes from here and just loops around and goes to the negative terminal. You can also ground it to the body if you want to. One thing that I'll say is this is obviously the same plate that's in my tractor. That's a 6-gang. So you've got 1 through 4 here. There's 2 more cutouts here, so it's not any bigger size footprint on this side to go with the 6-gang if you feel like it's going to be useful. All right, so now we're going to do the accessory wire. Now this keeps your battery from dying, so it's pretty important. So push it down in here. It'll click, and it'll just sit right like that. The other end of that wire is just a positive red wire. You want to put this somewhere that's only powered when the key's on. That way this doesn't leave your lights and stuff on and drain your battery down. You can, if you want to use it without the battery, without the key on, you can switch it here and override that for temporary if this is actually somewhere where you can get to it. Then besides your wires that you're going to wire in for your circuits that you want, there's only one more cable, and so it's this long cable, and this actually goes from here all the way to the front wherever you mount the control panel. And that's one thing that these switches are really good about, because you don't have to wire all these switches inside the cab if you're putting this in a car or something. You can only have to run one wire inside the cab, so it can be very helpful. And then this control panel wire goes right beside the accessory wire up here at the top. Just clicks right in. So all those you just kind of pull and take the slack out of, and when you put the cover on, it'll just kind of push them down. And that's all the wiring that you have to do here besides your 4 circuits. Now these circuits are going to be different sizes, and there's relays built in, and so you can see there's different sizes fuses here. So it's important that you put any large loads on this first circuit. That's a 30 amp, 20 amp, I think it's 15 and 10. In any of the panels that you get, even my 12-gang in the truck, they're going to be set up like that. So you know, you have, this is a 60 amp breaker, but you share all of this power, so it's really important. And I think that the relay that's built in probably won't, you know, take the full 30 amps on this one like it does this one, but I don't know that for sure. All right, so I need a few more ground wires because I don't want to keep adding stuff here, so I'm going to go to the frame. I made a hole here and wire wheeled the paint away from the hole, so that's going to be that. I got a 10 gauge cord here that's going to go all the way to the back for a ground for all my lights and such. I just use 10 gauge because I'm going to connect multiple things to that. The 12 gauge wire is going to be positive going from here back for the lights, and that's just because I have a whole lot of lights, which would be fine on a smaller wire, but we're going to do it right. All right, so I'm wiring my strobe lights up to 1, but I couldn't fit my screwdriver in here because of the intake, so I had to loosen that up so I could get it up out of the way there so that I can tighten this screw down. All right, so we're just testing, see if those lights turn on. Yeah, buddy. All right, so strobe's working. So I got those on the front. Eventually we will have these 2 on the loader and 1 on the side and the back of the toolbox that's blinking with those. All right, so now we got to hook these 2 up. We're going to wire them in some wire loom and just follow the hydraulic lines back and tie it in. All right, so we're hooked up here. Got that one, and this light, the black is the positive. I used a test lead, it didn't work the other way. So then I go over here, continue the line through here, but I spliced in these pieces there. So So I'm going to do that. Now I'm going to get this buttoned up, taped up, put some wire and loom on here, and tape it up to this, and we'll get to going. All right. So we got our lights wired in here. They go up, they go over, straight down the loader. And then I have some slack in this to allow for some movement, but these hoseless make it so it shouldn't have any issue. And I follow the hose and go down there and connect. If I ever have any electrical issues, that's going to be down there because I used a 10 gauge ground, which I didn't need. But I used a 10 gauge connector, and I have both the 16 gauge and the 10 gauge shoved in one side. So I kind of expect that to fail. These are the lights from the flashers on the dash that turn signals. And so all that goes together, and it's routed along a hydraulic line and then comes up right here at the seat where it's going to split across. The wires that go up to the lights are going to go along this side, and then I have one that goes in here for the strobe lights for hot, and I have one that goes for a flasher on the top, and then I have the actual turn signal wire. So those are all going through the little grommets that I installed here. All right, so for these back work lights that are up on top and all the wires in the ammo cans, I want a way to disconnect them. That way if I have to change the toolbox or something. So I'm going to actually use these connectors. I got this set previously. It was a sponsored product through the channel. I have fulfilled all of my requirements with them, but these connectors are awesome. So I'm going to try to use those. So all four of these wires are going into this toolbox. So I'm going to use a 4-way plug. I want to try that. I've had really good luck out of the 2-way plugs, but for some reason, every time I use more, I can never get them to work quite right. So hopefully this is my time. All right, so I got the wires in over there. Looks like I got an issue with my turn signals, but everything else seems to be working. I got that plug in there, and I got this plug over here. So these are weatherproof, and this allows me to really quickly disconnect each of these toolboxes as needed.
This was the end of the day right before I had to go back to work, so I had to quit what I was doing. But really the only thing that I did here that I haven't showed is connecting those work lights up at the top. And all the wires are just hanging until I get back from work over the next week. So I'm going to pick up from there right here in just a second. So when I got back from my work week, it was time to tidy this wiring up a little bit on the back. You know, basically all I did was I took these wires that were a mess. I used some electrical tape and a lot of wiring loom, and I ran it all the way down the side of the roll bar. I was going to use the other side, but it just lined up better for some reason doing it on the passenger side. So that worked out fine. I did leave a little bit of a loop. That way if I needed to fold that roll bar over, I could, and that wouldn't be an issue. And I just ran it all the way down to the fenders. And when I got to the fenders, I actually used some magnetic mounts, some magnetic zip tie mounts that I'd actually bought for the excavator, but it come in a pack of a few, and I only needed 3 or 4 for the excavator. So I thought I'll try it on this first. And I have to say they're pretty strong magnets. They are a little bit smaller than I would like, but they do have quite a bit of holding power for the size, and I think that they'll actually hold up pretty well on this. I'm pretty happy with the way this wiring turned out. I think it cleaned up pretty well. I did also install some gauges. I installed a water temperature gauge, and I installed an oil pressure gauge. They're just digital gauges. Let me tell you, that was a pain to get the metric conversion. I also added a horn. Now this horn, it was kind of a letdown.
All right, so we got the hood back on, put the stack back on. Just turned it off, still got a little exhaust coming out. Got our little decals on the side. pretty happy so far. All right, so we got all our wiring done. This is just a plug for the battery maintainer. Got all that stuff up there in the front. It's all cleaned up. The power panel's down here that circuit goes to, and that's the fuse for it, so it's kind of hard to get to, but it'll work. And then back here we got all this cleaned up too. It's not the cleanest in the world, but it's what I had to work with. I think it came out pretty good.
Now comes the part where I had to finish up the wiring. I had the wiring done, but I still got to mount this panel. This is the control panel that actually turns the lights on and off and stuff like that. This is the Mictuning portion of the panel that would actually go inside your car if you were mounting it inside a vehicle. Now this have a good weatherproof rating. I forgot what it was, but the panel itself is not weatherproof because it's just got relays and fuses and all that stuff in there, so it can't be directly in the rain. But this can be, supposedly. I guess we'll find out shortly. But it comes with a mount. You can flush mount it, or you can mount it on this little bracket. And then after you mount it, you just take the stickers that come with it and you put over the buttons. That way you know what the button actually controls. Then one of the last steps that I did is I actually went around and I put some sealant around all these lights. I actually just now remembered that I need to go back and put some sealant around those grommets on the inside portions of those toolboxes because I didn't seal those. But I did, just tape this off so it looks better. And then this is just silicone that I'm going around. It did have a foam gasket on there, so it probably would have been okay. But I just wanted to try to be on the safe side. I didn't drill like any drainage holes. I thought about that. But for right now, I think that I'm going to leave it like this because I think that it's pretty much waterproof. So that brings us to about the end of this project. The only main thing that I have left to work on is putting some new wheels and tires on here that I have already, but I'm waiting on some custom adapters. I did also mount another these 50 caliber ammo boxes to the loader for a chain box, and I also made a DIY chainsaw holster. So those are upcoming projects that you'll see. But thanks if you've stuck around this long, and be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out.